On est en direct avec Yannick Jean. Première question.
Comment c'était dans le vestiaire 0-4 sur le banc en fin de deuxième, puis même dans le vestiaire entre la 2 et la 3? Comment est-ce qu'on a vu ce moment-là? Là?
Ben, on a dit aux joueurs de contrôler ce qu'on pouvait contrôler, notre niveau de compétition. C'est ce qu'on a dit, arrête de t'en faire avec ce qui est passé, on ne peut rien faire avec ça. Maintenant, il y a plein de choses que en troisième période, tu ne contrôleras pas. Contrôle ton niveau de compétition, puis on verra qu'est-ce qui arrive. Puis la d'autre affaire, on a dit, il ne faut pas passer à côté d'un lancer au filet, c'est tout. Mais le reste, c'est pas 1000 discours, puis c'est pas un discours du coach qui a fait la différence ou peu importe. Et, on a du leadership, puis il y en a qui se sont levés à ce moment-là, puis qui ont été capables de faire la différence.
Tu as 5000 games de coacher dans cette ligue-là. As-tu déjà vu ça, une affaire de même?
Oui. Contre Moncton, Philippe Hudon avait scoré 3 buts. On perdait 5-1, il restait 12 minutes. Puis on avait gagné 6-5 avant la fin de la game pour le match. C'était 1-1 dans la série. Ça a fait l'année qu'on avait échangé Philippe Dano à Moncton, justement, puis qu'on a gagné en 5. Donc, j'y pensais plus, mais étant donné que tu le demandes, oui, c'est déjà arrivé. Là. On avait toute une performance des Philippe dans ce temps-là. Maillet, Hudon, puis Harley, c'était quelque chose.
Parle-moi de Boulans là, qui réussit un tour du chapeau naturel dans un match de finale. C'est pas banal, là, je pense, qu'est-ce qu'il vient de réaliser. Est-ce qu'il a eu son mot à dire là, dans le vestiaire après la deuxième ou quoi que ce soit?
C'est pas pendant que j'étais là ou peu importe. Je ne sais pas qu'est-ce qui s'est dit quand j'étais pas là. La chambre, elle appartient aux joueurs. On passe nos messages. On dit qu'est-ce qu'on a à dire. On sort de là. Je ferais le demander à eux autres.
Là, explique-moi un petit peu. Tu es revenu hyper calme. Là. Comment on fait pour... ça fait 10 minutes que le match est fini. On dirait que tout le monde est encore sur une certaine adrénaline, mais toi, tu es revenu super...
C'est un peu ça coaché, par exemple. À 0-4, tu ne fais pas avoir la face dans le prélat puis dire, regardez, pleurer, s'apitoyer sur notre sort. Mais c'est la même affaire. Et c'est important de doser. C'est important de montrer comment il faut se comporter. Puis c'est ce qu'on essaie de faire.
As-tu senti un point tournant? Est-ce que c'est le premier but vers la fin de la deuxième? Est-ce que c'est le but tôt en troisième période? As-tu senti un moment où ça a peut-être cliqué?
C'est allé vite, honnêtement. Hein? Je ne suis pas capable de dire si c'est un point tournant ou peu importe. Je pense que c'est sûr que même si on était revenu, c'était encore 4-4. Les 2 buts sur l'avantage numérique, là, c'est un gros but de Schaefer pour faire 6-4. Là, puis je pense que ça a été un gros jeu en fin d'avantage numérique pour nous autres. Ils ne sont pas battus, ils ne sont jamais battus, puis on le savait même à 6-4. On fait 6-5, on fait 7-5, on fait 7-6. C'est ça, 2 bonnes équipes. Une fois que les équipes ils décident d'y aller, ben, sont difficiles à défendre. Puis c'est un peu ce qui s'est passé avec les 2 clubs à ce soir.
You obviously just talked about experiencing something like that before, but how did you use your experience behind the bench and the Yannick Jean of 10 years ago or 15 years ago? What have you learned all through that time, and how did you handle those situations?
10, 15 years ago, I would have been probably a lot negative at 0-3, 0-4, and the way things were turning out. But you can't be negative behind the bench. You got to make sure you stay composed. Once the game plays, you have to make sure that you help them, get to the other level. So to help them to kind of, father them or just, take them by the hand and let's go together. So that's probably a lot lessons learned in the past. There's no need. You cannot be negative behind the bench. And it's something that probably when I was younger, I used to do more.
Discuss the chemistry between your coaching staff. There's a lot of conversation throughout the game. Maybe just discuss their growth and how far they've come and the chemistry behind the bench.
I mean, you know, at one point when you're getting old, you want to make sure that you hire guys that are able to not communicate, but, you know, to understand this generation, the young guys and everything. They're able to connect with them. So, I mean, I get fed a lot of information. You know, that's the way we work. That's the way we've worked since they both got here. And, you know, they have a big input to say in everything we do.
D'autres questions? Merci, coach. Liam Lefebvre.
Liam, qu'est-ce qui vient de se passer?
Écoute, je ne sais pas si je peux le mettre en mots présentement. Beaucoup d'émotions, ça c'est sûr. Mais je suis vraiment fier de notre groupe et de ce qu'on a accompli. Mais à la fin de la journée, c'est à minuit. C'est une nouvelle journée, puis on focus sur le prochain match.
Oui, c'est ça. J'en parlais à l'entraîneur. Là, vous êtes redevenu, on dirait, sur un niveau d'émotion assez stable, mais est-ce que c'est un challenge quand même? Parce que vous venez de vivre de quoi de peut-être unique un peu?
Oui, certainement. Je pense qu'il y a beaucoup de hauts et de bas dans un match comme ça. Surtout, tu regardes en deuxième période, c'était assez plat sur le banc, puis tout ça. Puis après ça, l'émotion qui monte. Puis il faut être capable de stabiliser ça, puis de revenir assez neutre pour le prochain match.
Vous vouliez sans doute un but rapide en troisième. Est-ce que tu as senti que ce but-là que tu as marqué, là, peut-être changer le vent de côté?
Je pense pas changer le vent de côté. Peut-être un peu de momentum qui s'est apporté de notre côté. Mais après ça, c'est juste d'être résilient puis de continuer à travailler, faire les choses comme on les a faites toute l'année. Puis c'est ça que ça a donné.
Selon nos sources, c'est ta fête?
Oui.
Beau cadeau de fête?
Oui, je pense que c'est le meilleur cadeau de fête que j'aurais pu avoir.
How do you keep your head in it? And how did the group keep your mindset? You had a lot of possession in the first period, but find yourselves down like that.
I think, we go into that game, we're playing good first period. We're down 2 after the first, but we know in our heads that, we played a good period. The bounces are going to come eventually. And so just kind of trusting the process, trusting our game, our systems, and, even going down 4-0 there, definitely tough mentally, but just staying in it again. And all the guys really did a good job at that. And then just clawing our way back into that one, it was a pretty good feeling.
D'autres questions? Bonne fête, Liam.
Merci.
Hey, but there is what just come happen.
I mean, in the first and second, we had a lot of chances to score, but we didn't capitalize. And I think we just kept pushing and pushing. In the third, it eventually went in, and we started bounding back.
Personally, natural hat trick. How did you get those chances to turn in goals?
It's just playing hockey. You don't think about it. You just play it the right way, and if it happens, it happens. It's nice, and just anything to help the team win in the end.
Did the leader say something special during the intermission?
No, we just all knew we had to give our all 110% in the third, so we did that.
Have you ever experienced anything close to this?
Oh, it was a roller coaster emotion game, but at the end of the day, it's just one win, and we gotta got to regroup and come back Sunday.
You've been part of the organization for a long time, a corner piece. How special is it to be part of this hockey club and to have this opportunity right now in your path and journey in your career?
Yeah, that's kind of what we've been building for last couple of years, and I think it's a great opportunity for us to kind of get the chance to experience this.
D'autres questions? Other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Coach McDougall.
Can you put into words what just happened?
First, I thought you were going to bring water. You said you'd bring water among them. Just
If you
before
had
I
1 hour,
yeah.
you would have water.
Yeah. Just before I start, I'd just like to acknowledge Paul Buh there and the impact he's had in the hockey community. We got an opportunity to have him for a year and a half here. So Paul was a tremendous person. One of those, what he did with his company, 42 Seconds, is kind of a trailblazer in the defensive part of the game. And I had coached against him and didn't get to know him that well when he was at Dalhousie. But when I went to St. John, he was our defensive consultant. And then, was strategic, made a key impact on the D up in St. John. Obviously, we won a Memorial Cup together. When, him and Mike Eagles are two of the first people Taylor and I hired. We took the job here in Moncton, and he did a terrific job last year for our D unit, along with Dustin Friesen. And then this year he was back. He's had health issues all year, so he hasn't been around his club as much. But he still was a very proud Moncton Wildcat. During game number 4, he was texting back and forth with Taylor on the game, and was very excited about the win. So it was you have a big win like that in game 4, and you come to the office at 7 o'clock or 6:37 the next day, and I have a good friend Trevor Steinberg that was a good phoned me about the news, and so it was kind of a tough day for us. He'd like to play. He had his 42 seconds was his company. 44 seconds, excuse me. 44 seconds was his company. Partnered with David Savard this year and worked with our team, and it was we didn't quite get 44 seconds. It probably was a few 44-second shifts that made a big difference against us in the game tonight. But I'd like to acknowledge Paul for what he's done in the hockey community, and he's been what he's done for defensemen all over the world. He said guys from the National Hockey League, American Hockey League, high-level players in Europe, and obviously made a big impact on our club. So I think it's regarded that we should acknowledge his contributions to the game of hockey and for making a significant difference with so many people.
So
and then you can answer your question.
Okay. So how do you put into words what just happened tonight?
That's very tough, It's maybe I recall the game. I didn't think we started as well as we could, but I thought our goaltender was our best player in the first period. But we capitalized on a couple opportunities. We didn't get many shots, but you get a lead at home, which is obviously the goal of the lead of our team. So the process wasn't as good, but the results were pretty good for us in the first. I thought maybe the lengthy intermission actually helped our team a little bit. We got refocused, got to do a little video with them. I thought we had a much better second period. Extended the lead, which is a goal of a team. You get up 4-0 in your home rink. We're not allowed to bet on your own team, obviously, but I think a lot of people would say, hey, it's, probably costly goal we gave up there to make it 4-1, give them a little bit of life. And then third is, uncommon. Yeah, we've been probably top third period hockey club in the league. You have a 4-1 lead at home, capacity crowd, and you're looking forward to the opportunity to extending it or at least holding it, and then sometimes things happen in the game of hockey. They got one, full credit. They got, they scored in a little momentum behind them, and all of a sudden the game's tied. And still, we still got, okay. We played Baie-Comeau last year. We had a 4-0 lead going in the third period up in Baie-Comeau, and they scored 4 in a row. Luckily, we went out the next shift and scored to make it 5-4, and we held on. And we just didn't get that fifth one, and then tough penalty. And usually we've given up one power play goal in the 4 games, and we ended up giving 2. I thought key to try to get that second one, and then gave up one with 1 second left, which is sometimes those things happen. 6-4. There's a lot of resilience in this group, and to make it 6-5, you think, okay, you have one of those special moments at home, capacity crowd, and you tie the game up, and we gave up. We just didn't quite gave up an empty netter. But then this group keeps fighting, and you make it 7-6, and then who knows, down there. So, but it's you got to. This group has been real special. What they've done and everything, and obviously this is going to be a big turnaround for our group now. You have a lead at home, game number 5, capacity crowd, and you're saying, hey, this is a highlight of career for guys in the room. And then in a 20-minute period, you turn around and you get heartbreak, because they care so much, they've done so much. So it won't be easy for them to wake up tomorrow, but let's say, if it was game 7, she'd be devastated. But we still got a chance. We're going to go down there, got to regroup, and big opportunity for us in game 6.
You have a lot of leaders on that team, but mentally, they're kids. How do they come back from this?
Oh, well, we'll find out in game 6.
What's going to be your message?
Yeah, we'll have a good message tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, it's not easy, but we expect it. We probably didn't expect to have a 4-0 lead. The series has been so close. Every game's been 1 goal, except for a couple empty netters, and so it's a chance to grow. Everyone's got to grow, and that's like I say, tomorrow's a big day, and then next day is even bigger.
Other questions? Our condolences for Paul Buh.
Thanks, fellas. Yeah.
Gabe Smith.
Gabe, how can you explain what had just happened, and have you ever lived something like that?
Obviously that hurts. Being up and then ending up losing the game, but that's a game of hockey. We have a tight group, and I'm excited to bounce back Sunday.
How do you come back from this? I know you're one of the leaders on the team. How do you regroup? How do you do it?
We're a tight group. We're a family. I think we're just gonna have to play our game, and I think we do well on the big ice. So we're just gonna have to stick together and feed off each other and the love that we have for each other. So yeah, I think we're gonna be ready Sunday.
After the second period, did you feel overconfident because of that, and that's what happened? Is it some kind of explanation you can give, because you feel you were dominating the Saguenay?
I mean, yeah, I think maybe we got a little too comfortable, showing the play that we had in the third. But that's just that's hockey, and that happens. So we're just going to regroup and be ready Sunday.
Gabe, obviously, I know every series is different, but experienced heartbreaking game 6 last series against Blainville and came back in game 7 and rebounded. Can you guys draw on that experience with such a veteran group, knowing that you got to go to Chicoutimi and bring this thing back to the Hub City for game 7?
Yeah. I think, we're a tight group. Like I said, we're just going to, feed off each other and feed off the confidence we have and that we built throughout the year. So we're just going to do our best, and, we're excited to play Sunday.
Other questions? Thanks, Gabe, for your time. Thank you.